Welcome to the front, Knee Commandos! I'm Nico the Iron Elf, a war elf forged in the fires of battle. Today we are commanding Armchair General, a series where we dissect war tactics, military equipment, and modern combat developments. Welcome to the stream, Albert. Today we have some news out of Kashmir, which is what we're covering today. It's going to be a little bit shorter than the normal Armchair General, because it's happening right now. But we are joined with Yog. Hi, Yog.
Hello. Hello. How is everybody doing? Today we're going to have so much fun.
Yeah. So, the summary of events in Kashmir is India diverted a river and flooded some areas in Pakistan. There's a terrorist attack on the Indian population in Kashmir. A constable was also captured or kidnapped. There's a skirmish at the line of contact with no casualties. And I think that was just with small arms. There was then a night skirmish later on, a few hours later, involving heavy weapons, which is the video right here. And then the skirmishing expanded into a whole battle, like a small battle. So let's go ahead and watch the video. And that was the night skirmish with the heavy weapons. And then the battle one is the next slide here. There we go. You have anything that you wanted to say about what the timeline of events that happened so far, Yog?
So, it seems so far that there was a terrorist attack in Kashmir killing over 26.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, 26 Indian tourists in the area, and afterwards there's been a big back and forth over water rights and tourist visas. Now, people are being asked to leave the country. There's a lot of uncertainty going on right now with who can stay and what. And right now, it's a lot of, like, at the moment you and I are speaking, there's a lot of troop movement being put into Kashmir. Pakistan has alerted its air force. It's moved forward a lot of tanks. We will see those later on, but as of right now, it's sort of a weird gray skirmish zone.
Yeah. And then this is the night battle with the heavier weapons. We have machine gun and mortar fires, and then this one is the night battle with heavy weapons. Yeah. So there's machine gun fire, and then here is the Pakistani forces destroyed 2 Indian outposts using mortars and machine gun fire at the line of control.
Yeah.
So it definitely intensified over the night.
Yeah, it is not a good situation right now. It is a very, very tricky situation we're in because we don't know when it's going to start moving on. I mean, I have something from like 40 minutes ago where a Indian Air Force tanker is on the border of Pakistan right now, so
yeah.
Like, we're in a very tricky spot right now, boys.
Yep. Is the audio going through? Yeah, it's going through. Wait, is it? Chat, was the audio coming through of the weapons? Because you can kind of hear the difference in the gun noises. No? Okay, let me go back and redo the videos. Let's see. There we go. Okay, we'll watch the videos one more time. So, this is the skirmish of the small arms. Welcome to the stream, Cannon. Thank you, thank you.
So, the India and Pakistan haven't had an official war since the 90s, so this would be like the first real official war.
Yeah. Hello. Oof, this sounds serious. Yeah. And then this was a separate night battle somewhere else, but near the front line. I mean, since the 90s ain't that long. True. Welcome to the stream, Maki. Welcome, welcome. And then here's the large battle with the mortar fire and the 2 destroyed outposts.
Yeah, just for clarity's sake, when we mean like outposts being destroyed, it's not like actual military outposts like you and I are thinking. It'd probably be akin more to I want to say like a bunch of sandbags next to each other and
Yeah.
soldiers kind of like sitting behind it.
Yeah, like a defensive position.
Epoxy. Like since the 90s. It's not, that's still 20 years. Here's the thing. We are looking at 2 armies that have not really proven themselves.
That's true. Oh, yep. So this is a later update when it was daybreak. So you found this one, Yag? Go ahead.
Yeah, so Pakistani forces have reportedly deployed troops on the Indian border area, seemingly numerous Al-Zazir main battle tanks, which are upgraded Type 59s, which are Chinese tanks, have been positioned near the border with India. These are some of the more common tanks that exist within the Pakistani army, but they are updated and modernized. So it's sort of they are pretty decent. So it seems Pakistan is not sending its lesser material; it's sending higher. I want to say super high end material, but it's sending stuff that's like I want to say like the equivalent to sending T-72s instead of sending T-80s and T-90s.
They've mobilized their pretty decent stuff, and we'll go into more what's in the region in just a bit. I think, yep, the India. Here we go.
So India has recalled its carrier INS Vikrant from the Arabian Sea. This is I'm just going to double check to make sure that this is not the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But basically, this was supposed to be out in the Arabian Sea for a while for testing, and just just carrier just going around, but it has been called back to its home port, and now I don't know if this is how do I put it? I don't know if this is we need to get this back in home port to try to fight a you know what I mean? Like get it back into port, or we just don't want it to get hit by something because it was near Pakistan's border.
Yeah.
And this is its most advanced and domestically produced carrier, but it's kind of how do I the Russian Soviet old carrier?
Oh yeah, the one that's pretty bad.
Yeah. The one, this is just an Indian version. It's not even like it's probably what the Kunz is going to be when it's modernized, when they finally fix that freaking thing.
Yeah.
So
you have no idea what the outcome would be. Yeah, we're going to cover what we think. We're going to try and predict a little bit. Another conflict? Yes, we are probably going to go into another conflict pretty soon. Modernized Chinese version of a T-55. Well, I mean, this is South Asia. True. They don't have a lot of money, but they have a lot of people. So we'll see how they handle things here.
I don't blame them. Like, it sort of is a way to keep everything costs down, but also keep everything like on paper. I think India stomps Pakistan from size plus GDP, but who knows? Yeah, we're actually going to go through that. Who knows?
Yeah. So this is the disputed territory. Kashmir. Here's the line from no, my hat, Mexi, why?
It's not your hat anymore.
True. It's yoinked every stream. But this is the line claimed by India up to here and in part of China. And then the line claimed by Pakistan is here. But what each side actually controls is split here. So this area is controlled by India, this side's controlled by Pakistan. And here's some more info is the rivers here come out of the Indian controlled territory, which is the big issue of the dispute, and then goes into India. So that contains 80% of Pakistan's water, and they've been using the dams to turn it on and off. And the region is also 70% Muslim. That's under the Indian control. But in October 1947, they signed the Instrument of Accession, which gave Indian control over the territory. So there are also claims that go back like 1,000 2,000 years for both sides that are like, this is our land. But we'll just cover the more recent stuff, otherwise, because it gets really, really complicated.
Yeah, it gets very back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't think I was gonna say, like, I don't think we have a lot of Southeast Asian fans, but it's
Mhm.
basically like one of those, like, do not touch with 70-foot pole, please.
Pakistan is relatively friendly with China. Yeah, if we go back at the disputed territory, India claims a lot of this land by it's under Chinese control right here and here, which I don't think China super. It's not really on their priority list, but it's like a hey, we can't just give up our territory. It's
Yeah.
all Himalayas, yeah, and
Oh
the
yeah.
water's super important to both of these countries. And then that brings us to the dams. There are 5 dams that control the water flow, which could end up being potential targets by Pakistan, but that would be a very, very big escalation.
Oh, that would be beyond, like, any
Mm.
attempt to. Ugh, that would basically be like, all right, now we got to go to a full scale, like each
Yeah.
side going past each other's borders. By the way, there's a lot of like mount. The reason why Kashmir is probably going to be the most likely for fighting is because actually between India and Pakistan's border is a massive desert,
Hmm.
so we are
Yeah.
not going to be able to see anything.
Bro, there's no official news info about this. Yeah, it's all on Twitter because it just happened last night into this morning. And it's gotten a
Hmm.
little bit quiet this morning. I thought the opposite would happen, but both sides are mobilizing. So we'll see. I think they'll calm down a little bit, but the foundations for the conflict haven't changed at all. So I think it'll escalate.
Yeah, it is escalating and it's getting to the point of, but we don't know to what scale of escalation. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. You think it'll be another nothing burger? Yeah, that could happen. And then last night they were using jamming in the Kashmir area. Here's the map. They were jamming right here, this area, and a
Hmm.
little bit here.
Yeah, so basically south of Kashmir, but important routes because as you can see, most of the main roads go between those two spots.
Yeah.
You guys are literally
You
my only
guys are
source of
literally
info.
my only source of info. Yeah. Trustworthy news.
Me and
Armchair
Iron are just
General.
going back and forth, just like, dude, did you see this? Yeah, I saw this.
Hmm.
Awesome.
I don't think press was ready to cover it because it wasn't on their radar. Morning, morning, people. Welcome to the stream. Here we're gonna compare their air force. The Indian Air Force has about 2,000 planes, and Pakistan has a little under 1,000. So I think that the Pakistan Air Force is of slightly better quality, but it's pretty dwarfed in size by India.
Yeah, so India has probably better fighters when it comes to their Sukhoi 30 MKIs,
Mhm.
but India uses a lot of MiG 21s and a lot of Mirage 2000, like a
Mhm.
lot of older, like third and second generation fighter jets.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like it's sort of like, yeah, they have 300 Sukhoi 30s, but is 300 going to be enough to go against 200 JF Fit 17s plus Chinese J-20s? You know,
Mhm. Oh hell yeah! World events. Yeah, right. It happened yesterday.
we
Right?
should become the
Oh,
world news.
true. Oh, and this is what you found out. They upgraded their planes.
Yes. Yeah, so what happened was Pakistan JF-17s are their domestically made planes. I don't want to hear anyone be like, "Oh, but the Chinese." No. So these planes have been upgraded with brand new air-to-air missiles, PL-10s and PL-15s,
Mm-hmm.
and the upgrade was done this week during the conflict to show that people are basically like show like, hey, India, we're serious, because the PL-15's range of 200 300 kilometers is almost as much as the Sukhoi 30 missile ranges.
Mm-hmm. Although not Air Force, you have to remember infantry. Yeah, we'll get to their infantry in just a minute. Air Forces are
Yeah.
just payload delivery. Need to look into SAM systems. Yeah, we'll look into those maybe in the future, but we just wanted to do the update really quick. Hey, what's up? Hi, Kamikaze.
Hello.
And next, we're Navy comparison. So
Yes,
the Indian
that's
Navy
Navy.
isn't great as a Navy, uh, but they're still pretty good. Actually, they might be pretty good as a Navy. I'm considering that I'm kind of comparing them to the U.S., but that's not really fair.
I was gonna say that's not fair to compare it to like the
Yeah,
U.S. You gotta compare it to like in the region. It'd be like
yeah.
how come you guys aren't as good as I'm trying to think of it, like I don't know, the Chinese
Is
or Russian Navy. It's like how come? It's like well they're not fighting for that. But no,
yeah.
I as you can see, Pakistan really does not have a big navy. It has a
Mm,
defensive navy.
yeah. But they have the two aircraft carriers, which Pakistan can't even match at all. They have more destroyers, more frigates, about the same amount of submarine. Oh no, they don't. I forgot. Conventional. So they have way more submarines, more corvettes. So it would not be close in the water.
You know what? I actually decided to look up Pakistan versus India, like
Hmm.
just any times in naval conflict. You know what's interesting? Pakistan actually has the only ever submarine sinking of a ship since World War II, besides the British. They actually managed to
Ooh.
sink an Indian Navy ship, and I'm just wondering,
Oh.
like, I wonder
What?
if that may actually help them in this conflict.
What year was that?
1970s. So those guys are
Oh,
probably now
okay.
generals. The guys who were probably working on those boats are probably the generals now.
Yeah, but it's just numbers still count. Like it's gonna be not
Numbers
good for them.
numbers count, but if you're defensive, that's
Mhm.
it's so good if you're defensive.
True. It's just the aircraft carriers can touch them wherever. It's the don't touch my boats. And then next, the ground forces comparison. So the Indian Army is way bigger. They have over 1 million active, 1 million in reserve. They have 310 combat aircraft in the army, and over 4,000 tanks, the main one being the T-72.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, in Pakistan, they have a little under 600,000, 600,000 reserve, some 200,000 National Guard, and about a little under 3,000 tanks. And their main battle tank is the Type 59.
Yeah. So Pakistan is sort of divided in a different way where it has a national guard, so it has like a third branch. Like you know how we have the national guard here,
Yeah.
they have the national guard as well. So I imagine those troops are more prepared for fighting against Indian invasions.
Hmm.
But because this is a very mountainous region, I don't know how much tank on tank like warfare we're gonna see.
That's true.
We'd most likely see probably just infantry and maybe aircraft fighting each other. You got to remember, Kashmir is extremely mountainous.
That's true. I think the T-72, I think it was I don't think it's going to do that well in the area because it's mostly meant for like the Ukraine, right? And
It-
the mountains will be
The
bad, but they're always going to need mobile firepower. That's always
Yeah,
going to be important.
tanks are mostly designed for like the tanks. Soviet tank philosophy was always for fighting in fields and maybe even cities. That's why their tanks are
Hmm.
smaller. You can put them through city streets a lot easier than like an Abrams. But
Yeah.
the concept is it's basically where is the fighting going to be? I could see them a tank just because. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly how it's going to be a legend.
Ah, yeah.
It's going to be like we need to send tanks to look like we're doing something, and then tanks are going to get blown up immediately.
Losing artillery platforms metal too. I think the Indian Army mobilized some self-propelled arty last night, but we're not sure, and there's not really any good photos of it. But we're pretty sure that they're there.
I let me
Wasn't?
actually go check. I think there was just a photo uploaded of artillery
Oh,
going
okay.
through. Let me
All
go
right.
find that for you. I know, right? It's like as
Yeah.
speaking, it's going through.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right,
Let me
and
get it
then
for you
now we're going to
guys.
cover the units that are at the line of contact and Kashmir. So these are the troops that are probably going to get mobilized right away, and the troops that we'll see in a potential conflict. But Indian Army has 14th Corps, which is 30,000. 15th, another 30. 16th, another 30. The Ratisha Rifles, which is 45,000 garrison troops. So those aren't going to be like at the front line. They're just mostly used as policing and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kashmir Special Operations Group, which is 2,300 Special Forces Group. So the Indian Army has 168,000 soldiers, and we're not really counting that much of their paramilitary in the region because I don't think they'll be very good at the line of contact. And for Pakistan, they have the First Corps, 45,000 troops. The Azad Kashmir Regiment, which is 1,600 elite troops, probably Ranger or Special Forces. I'm not too sure on how trained they are and what kind of equipment they have. And the Mujahid Force, which is 24 battalions, and that brings us to a total of 87,000 soldiers. That's 2-for-1 for the Indians. Right.
It
Azad
is.
Kashmir could be the ones doing expertise of anything. They know the terrain. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the big thing is we can't find direct numbers on, I don't want to say on the militia groups in the area who are
Mm,
fighting as well, because that also is a big factor because the Pakistani army does support those groups. So I want to say maybe add another 13,000 soldiers with irregulars,
yeah.
but it's still a big disadvantage.
168,000, including logistics for advancing, and 87,000 for defense. Yeah, that seems about right with what I was going with. At the higher end, if we're counting all those troops, it would be about 350,000, maybe a little bit more. There's a
And this
lot of
is not,
fluidity in those numbers. Yes, we
yeah.
don't have super good data yet, but if
Yeah, I was gonna
anything
say
more happens, we'll get it.
if this doesn't include, let's see. Here's the thing: we're also not including park rangers. We're not including
Mhm.
any like local militias, any police officers as well who would be in the fight, constables, because a constable was the first person who's been captured. So,
Yeah,
the numbers are just going to be off the charts if this is blow into full scale war.
yeah. All right, next we have the missile range comparisons.
Yes. Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So for Pakistan, they mostly, as you can see, the first three missiles mostly go within border range, likely to be protective, defensive
Mm,
missiles, but their later bigger ones go from 500 to 2,750 kilometers. Basically, their missile philosophy, ballistic and cruise missile, is to hit
mm.
all of India. Nowhere else but all of India. That way India has no strategic depth against Pakistan if they can hit anywhere.
Yeah,
But as you can see, these are the longer range ones are basically like I want to say those are likely more nuclear than anything else.
yeah. So
Like that.
those aren't going to get used. I feel
Well,
confident saying that one. And all the types of missiles are well within the range of those dams we talked earlier. So if they want to destroy them, they could probably overwhelm all air defenses. I think India's counter to that would be to destroy them while they're trying to organize that attack. Any Scud launched? I do we have any Scud launched?
uh, no Scuds have been reported launch. I don't think either. Let me check that out. I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't.
think
I
either
think
uses
do they
Scuds.
have Scud capability? Because I know
Uh,
they didn't launch any.
they have like rocket artillery, but they don't really. Scud is kind of like Scud capabilities. Let me see. No, Scuds have never been given to India or Pakistan, so they don't have that
Oh,
design philosophy in them.
what's the point of putting green camo on these missiles? It kind of helps hide them a little bit if they're in storage.
Hmm.
I mean,
Also, it makes it
yeah,
look more intimidating in parades.
true. Cool
Most,
factor, yeah.
I mean, if you look at a photo of a Scud missile, like the ones that the Soviets used to use, they're just green because they knew that they were just going to launch them.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Identification and image is a big
Field
thing. True.
operated mobile missile platforms. Again, they do neither side really does have. I can double check that, but I don't think
Hmm.
either side uses tactical like missiles. Except maybe like rocket artillery at most, because again, that sort of philosophy of mobile missiles is usually, I want to say that's more of a Russian thing.
Hmm.
That's not really like Pakistani or Indian.
Yeah.
Just from what I can see. I
Mm.
can double check for everybody while Iron
Okay.
talks about it, but that's from what
Next,
I've researched.
yeah. Next is India's capability. So this is from October 2020, but they're also fighting Pakistan, but also China. They want to be able to rival China as well. So theirs have a little bit more range. That way they can, if they ever needed to, they could launch into China.
Hmm. They also have a more diverse form of missiles. They use a lot more cruise missiles and
Hmm.
a little bit more diversity in it, like ballistic cruise and short range missiles as well. No tactical. I looked in through
Hmm.
both. Neither side uses tactical, but they use MLRS with high ranges of
Hmm.
like 400 kilometers. So they do
Ah,
plan on
okay.
shooting at each other.
Yeah. You bet if India gets sucked in the eye, that China will make a move. Right. I think China's main idea is to kind of just sit back, just kind of focus on their own economy and just build soft influence. But I don't know how they would capitalize on this situation. I
They
don't know that.
Probably, knowing China supports Pakistan with arms and technological development, this is going to be a good way to test out a
Mm,
lot of the Pakistani arms, because the
yeah.
JF-17, their big fighter jet that Pakistan and China both work on, is
Hmm.
going to be tested its might. No
The
shooting but
clashes at the border.
fatalities.
Yeah, that was with against China, right? They disarmed them and they just like fist fought at the border. Yeah, it's like why? Here we have the artillery comparison. So India has 2,000 artillery, and it looks like Pakistan actually has a huge advantage in artillery if they can get it up there.
Yeah, a lot of it is from what I apologize for not having any like photos, but a lot of it is mostly like rocket artillery and smaller arms artillery. India
Hmm.
surprisingly did not have a lot of artillery, but if I may be wrong, from what I've
Hmm.
seen, this is just in the artillery regiments. I don't know if
Ah,
individual
okay,
army units have artillery,
okay, yeah. And
but
here, yeah, but
I was gonna say, but as you can see, big difference.
yeah, wild. Yeah, the fists, rock maces, and knives. Yeah, I, I think they had dudes with like the weapons kind of standing by just in case they're like they needed to go help their friends. But yeah, they just fist fought. The Indians and the Chinese just fist fought at the border, which is crazy.
Yeah. It was crazy because if you watch that footage, it's literally just them hand beating men to death.
I don't think there was. Oh, they had fatalities. Yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
don't remember that part. And then here, update. So this was today. A Turkish plane arrived in Pakistan, and we don't know what equipment was on that plane, but it was a military cargo plane. And I think they did confirm that some sort of military cargo was on it.
Hmm.
And then also an update. This is the latest one I have. Is an American cargo plane containing unknown military equipment arrived in India.
I would like to
So,
add, as we were speaking right now, we just had
mhm.
another update.
Oh, go ahead. Uh,
It looks as if India's Navy has been putting its Neptune monitoring planes on alert, and they're flying currently around the Pakistani, like the border of India and Pakistan. I'm going to send you it on Discord right now.
okay.
So in case you want to put it in, but as you can see right here, an Indian Neptune, basically say radar plane, but a early warning radar plane,
Yeah.
is monitoring and is patrolling and is getting intel right now.
All right. So let me make this bigger. So this is the Neptune plane.
Yes, this is India's Neptune P8I.
There we go. Okay. So it looks like it's pretty far. So it's probably like, is it an AWACS?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's an AWACS. So it'll be able to identify if Pakistan's also sorting and mobilizing its air force.
Which
Probably
I
also
wanted.
Navy too. It'll be able to tell where its
Yes,
Navy is. So
it
if
is
I
a
was Pakistan, I would hide my Navy. Hide my Navy at the
yes.
coast.
Probably they're probably hiding it around Karachi because that is the secondary capital. That is one of the most important
Yeah.
cities. But as you can see, guys, India is preparing for strikes. But the thing is, being like this is strikes for the South. This is not strikes for the North.
hmm Air Navy missiles being launched. We don't have any reports of that yet. But if more stuff happens, we will probably come back and find some streams that we can watch on
Oh my God, we're gonna be woken up at
YouTube.
like 3 a.m. tomorrow to do another. Like we're gonna if this
Yeah.
blows up, guys. By the way, like if Karachi or Islamabad gets bombed, I'm just
Hi,
gonna be like, all
Juicy.
right,
Welcome to the
let's
stream. Hi,
go.
hi. Yeah.
Like,
If this
let's
blows
get
up, true.
this blows up. Alright, sometimes English not good.
Non-zero, but it is near zero, which is just almost as good, right?
Yeah, they would never
Non-zero
nuke each
chance of
other.
nuclear war. Yeah.
It
All
would
their
literally be
objectives can be achieved without nukes, as far as
yeah,
I can see.
yeah, it would literally be like it would have to be one capital or the other being surrounded or nuked. Like it would
hmm
have to be like that.
All right, and that is our flash traffic armchair general. So I think I have a New Vegas stream that I'm going to do right after this, but I will end the stream for like a minute. That way, it's easier for YouTube to split up stuff. Thank you, Yog, for joining.
Yeah, no problem. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, look at all these people coming in to say hi.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye everybody. Have fun. Have a great day.